Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome to our topic. So entity relationship diagram. So under the database management system. So here we will be discussing how your table and entity can be related or should connect or should relate to other database to other entity. So we will also discuss this, okay, concept. So in order for you to have an idea, so how do we connect those database or tables? So under the database there are multiple table, okay, that you can connect with. So in order for you to have a good database with your system. So because if you don't have a good, okay, database setup or relationship diagram, so you will end up messing with your uh, transactions, with your uh, process. So with here we will be focusing on the basics or on the knowledge part, so wherein you can have an idea, okay, with this. So before first thing, we need to discuss this, we need to understand. So before you or before we move forward into coding, okay, programming on the database. So once you have an idea on this, okay, ERD or the database relationship diagram, or other part, so we might need to move into the coding, so hard coded part, wherein we can create a database, a table, so each entity, what are the content or what are the needed content of the entity, okay. So first, okay, so in order for this, okay, so or for this to have a learning outcome, so first understand the concepts of ER diagrams or the entity relationship diagram and its purpose, and then discuss how to define the relationship between entities, and then draw an ER diagram based on the database requirement. Okay, so when we say ER model, so it is a high level conceptual data model diagram, and then helps you to analyze data requirements systematically. Okay, and then also represented by entity relationship diagram or the ER diagram. Okay, so with this, okay, so uh, so with the ERD or entity relationship diagram, so we can visualize, or it is a visualization tool to represent ER model, and then displays the relationship of entity sets, then also explain logical structure of databases, and then under this, okay, so with this ER model, let's say for example, so why it is a high level conceptual data model diagram. So with this, okay, by the word concept, so we can identify, we can visualize the tables, the diagram, the entity under that certain table. Let's say, for example, we have uh, a person, okay? So person that has a name, address, contact number, email, okay, etc. Okay, so uh, if there is another person, so there is also the same entity like name, address, contact number, email, but different content. Okay? So entity, okay, let's say for example, person, 'di ba, tao. Again, so ano meron sa kanya? Yung name, yung address, contact number, birthday, okay? So email address, Ano yung hobby niya, ano yung favorite niya, okay, and so on. So those are the entity of a person. Okay? So person ID. Okay? So yun yung uniqueness ng table na yon. So because we should have the thing uniqueness of a certain table para pag may data na papasok, okay, may another data in person, okay? So let's say for example 001, okay, person 1, ito yung information niya. Person 2, ito yung information niya. Person 3, ito yung information and so on. Okay? So, yung person ID, ito yung uniqueness ng bawat data. Okay? So, in database, we should have a uniqueness for each certain table. Kasi ito yung identification mo for each data, for each entity. Okay? For the content of the certain table. Okay? Then also helps you analyze data requirements systematically. So, in ER diagram, so nakikita mo na kaagad kung ano yung mga related data na need mo. Okay? So, makikita mo doon, no? So, in doing the diagram, okay, enrollment system, let's say for example, sa enrollment system, may different entity yan, may different table. So, under the table student, okay? So, yung student ID, so, in our case or in your case, you have a different student number. Okay? So, yung student number na yun, ayun po yung uniqueness ng bawat student. Walang magkakaparehas na student number. So, kasi ito yung naka-store doon sa system. Okay? Naka-store sa system or naka-record sa database. So, ito po yung uniqueness ng bawat student. Okay? So, under that, may mga entity na content yung student table. Student number, name, yung course, okay? Then also yung address, contact number, email address, and so on. Okay? So, that's for the student table. And then, meron din course table. Yung course table, meron din siyang tinatawag na course ID. So, yung course ID, ito yung uniqueness nung course table. So, kasi, let's say, for example, course ID, C001. Oh, ibig sabihin, pag C001, ito ay pang IT. Okay, IT course. Or Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Okay, so yun po. And then, C002. Para saan yun? Let's say, for example, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Okay? C003. Let's say, for example, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Ayun po. Okay? So, those are the entity under the course table. Then, meron pa yan. Subject, room, schedule, professor, table, okay, and so on. So, marami po yan. When you create the enrollment system, there are a bunch of table, okay, related, or may relationship na that are connected with two other table. So, yun po. So, marami pong table yan. Okay? So, mas maintindihan nyo yan as we go on our topic. So, mas maintindihan po natin how does the ER diagram works. Okay? So, ito po. Then, so sabi nga, visualization ng tools or it is a visual tool to represent ER model. So, makikita nyo kaagad doon lahat. And then, also, yung relationship doon sa entity sets from one table to another table. Okay? So, ano yung relationship nila? Let's say, for example, sa course table, pwede mo i-connect doon yung student ID. Okay? Student ID, kasi pag sinearch mo yung student, lalabas doon yung kung ano yung course ng student. So, yung student table, connected siya doon sa course table. So, nalalaman mo ngayon kung ano yung course ng student. Okay? Then, again, we have the components of ER diagram. Okay? So, again, in ER modeling, so helps you to analyze data requirements systematically to produce a well-designed database. So, it is considered a best practice to complete ER modeling before implementing your database. Ayan po. Kaya nga, hindi pa tayo napupunta doon sa database part, so sa pag-create ng database, because we should need to understand yung concept nung pagde-design ng database. So, hindi po ito yung gawa ng database. So, kailangan nyo maintindihan yung concept, yung idea, yung systematic diagram, how to create that before doing the database part kasi mas mahirapan po kayo, okay, intindihin. So, yun po yun ha. Pag nagkikreate tayo ng database, okay, so kailangan po natin maintindihan or kailangan natin intindihin yung mga table and then under that table, ano yung mga kailangan natin. So, for us to create a good system. Okay? So, database muna. Before that, system na. Okay? Then, so yung ER diagram are a visual tool which is helpful to represent the ER model. So, it was proposed, okay? So it was proposed by Peter Chen in 1971 to create a uniform convention which can be used for a relational database and network. So he aimed to use an ER model as a conceptual modeling approach. So yung entity relationship diagram so displays the relationships of entity set stored in a database. So in other words, we can say that ER diagrams help you explain or help you to explain the logical structure databases. So at first look, so an ER diagram looks very similar to the flowchart. However, ER diagram includes many specialized symbols and its meanings make this model unique. So, in order for this, so we have the facts about ER diagram model. So, ER model allows you to draw database design. So, it is an easy to use graphical tool for modeling data. And then, it is widely used in database design. And then, it is a GUI representation of the logical structure of a database. So it helps you to identify the entities which exist in a system and the relationship between those entities. Okay? So in components of ER diagram, so we have the entities, attributes, and then the relationship. And then also in, uh, let's say for example, okay, so in a university database, we might have entities for students, and po, nabanggit ko kanina, students, courses, and lectures, okay? Let's say for example, students entity can have attributes like the student number, the name, and then yung course ID. So they might have relationship with courses and the lecturers table. Okay? On the entity, okay? So on the entity part, ito po so it represents the rectangles, okay? For the entity, and then ellipsis, so represent an attribute, diamond represent relationship, and then lines links between attributes to entity, and then entity to relationship, and then underline primary key attributes. So these are the ER or entity relationship diagram notations. Okay, so you should be familiarized with this first, okay, before proceeding with the diagram. Okay? So in entity, okay, so when we say entity, okay, so it is a real world thing, whether or either living or non-living, that is easily recognizable and non-recognizable. Okay? So it is anything in the enterprise that is to be represented in our database. So it may be a physical thing or simply a fact about the enterprise or an event that happens in the real world. Okay? So an entity can be place, person, object, event, or a concept. So which stores data in the database. Then the characteristics of entities are must have an attribute and a unique key. So again, yung unique key, so just like for example in student, so student number is the unique key, uniqueness of the table, and then uniqueness of the student. So every entity is made up of some attributes which represents that entity. Let's say for example, we have here a person. So examples of entities: person, employee, student, patient. Then place. So store, building, and so on. Object. So under object, so we have machine, product, and core. Under event, so we have sale, registration, renewal, yung transactions, yung processes, and so on. Then concept, account, course. Okay, so those are the example of entity. Then we have the uh, notation. Okay, notation of an entity. So entity set. So an entity set is a group of similar kind of entities. So it may contain entities with attributes, then sharing similar values. So entities are represented by their properties, so which also called attributes. So all attributes have their separate values. For example, a student entity may have a name, age, class, then as attributes. Okay? So example entities, so university may have some departments. All these departments employ various lecturers and offer similar programs. So some courses make up each program. So students register in a particular program and enroll in various courses. Then also, a lecturer from the specific department takes each course, and each lecturer teaches a various group of students. Okay? So let's say, for example, we have the strong entity. Okay? So a strong entity, a type of entity that contains sufficient attributes to uniquely identify all its entities. Then, primary key exists for a strong entity set. So we have here, so yun po yung binabanggit ko, yung student, ito po yung student table. So under student table, meron tayong student ID or student number. Then, we have also the student name. Then, sabi niya enrolled. Okay? So pag enrolled, so anong course niya? So under course table, so ito po student table, course table. So under course table, meron tayong course ID tsaka course name. Ayan po, importante po yan, ha? Okay? Then next, so we have the weak entity. Okay? So yung weak entity, a type of entity which doesn't have its key attribute. Then, can be identified uniquely by considering the primary key of another entity. Just like this. Okay? So, weak relation. So, ATM ID, address, time, saan ka nag-withdraw, Okay, anong transaction mo? Transaction number, amount, and then type. Okay? So, yun po yung tinatawag na weak entity or weak relationship. Okay? In okay? In attributes, so characteristics of an entity. Ayan, attributes. Okay? All attributes have values. So, types of attributes, simple attribute, composite attribute, derived attribute, single value attribute, and then the multi-value attribute. Okay? Then, so just like, for example, here, okay, attributes, ito po yung transaction table, meron po tayong attributes, andito po yung transaction number, yung amount, yung type. Then ito po, attributes din po ito, ATM ID, address, time, and then on this one, attribute din po yung student ID, student name. Then, under course table, meron din tayong attribute na course ID, course name. Okay? So, hope this is clear with you. So, pag sinabi nating simple attribute, okay? So, simple attributes are atomic value which cannot be divided further. Hindi mo na siya pwedeng i-divide, expand. Okay? For example, a student's mobile number is an atomic value of 11 digits. So, ayan po. Hindi mo na pwedeng i-divide kasi isa lang naman eh. When you say student mobile number, ayun lang. Mobile number, 11 digits lang. So, wala nang iba. Then, while on composite attributes are made of more than one simple attribute. Okay? Just like, for example, a student's complete name may have first name and last name. Ayan po. Student. Okay? Yung entity ng student or yung student table may entity na student name. So, under student name, you can divide that into composite attribute. Okay? Ini-expand mo. So, when you expand that, okay, ayun po yung tinatawag na composite attribute which is under the student name, meron siyang first name, middle name, tsaka last name. Okay? So, again, yung simple attribute, again, hindi mo na siya pwedeng i-expand or i-divide kasi yun na lang po yun. Nag-iisa lang yan. Nag-iisa lang yung student mobile number. Student number, nag-iisa lang din po yan. Okay? So, wala na siyang pwedeng i-expand. So, unlike yung composite attribute on the student name, so pwede mo siyang i-expand into first name, again, middle name, okay, and then yung last name. Okay po. Then, on the derived attribute, so are the attributes that do not exist in the physical database, but their values are derived from other attributes present in the database. Okay? So, under this, we have the example. So, age can be derived from date of birth. Okay? So, derive Again, derived attributes are the attributes that do not exist in the physical database but their values are derived from other attributes present in the database. Let's say, for example, kinuha mo. Okay, kinuha mo sa ibang table. Let's say, for example, student. We have the birth date and then yung age. Okay, yung age, kinuha mo doon under the different, okay, from other attributes. Okay, so yun po yung derivation. Okay, like for example, it can be also derived, pwede kasi yon. Yung isang table, okay, meron yung date of birth, nakahiwalay yung table na yon. So under that, Yung date of birth, lalabas po doon yung age. Or, pwede naman siyang isama doon sa mismong student. Pwede mong gawin po yun. Yung iba kasi, ang ginagawa, hinihiwalay yung date of birth na table, and then, so andun, ang attributes niya, so meron siyang age, so yung entity niya under that, okay? Andun, yung iba kasi ang ginagawa, adult ba yan, teen ba yan? Okay, so under the birth date, makikita mo kung anong age siya. So it can determine kung teen siya, adult siya, okay, senior siya, and so on. So ganun po yung ginagawa ng iba. So may purpose po kasi yon. Okay, to identify that. Let's say for example, if your age is greater than or equal to 60, so senior ka na. Okay? So yung database ngayon, ipa-prompt ka na senior ka na, okay? So magre-retire ka na. Okay? So like for example, in company, so yung HR, okay, Human Resource Department, syempre, hindi nila namomonitor lahat, okay, lahat ng age ng kanilang empleyado. Tama? So that's why, yung database ngayon, okay, hinihiwalay nila yung mga uh, let's say for example, yung sa date of birth, ito yung date of birth mo, yung table na yon. Okay? Pag under 60 ka, so ino-notify niya. And then magno-notify siya pag greater than equal to 60 ka na. Okay, ino-notify ka ng system na ito magre-retire na. So ano yung plano natin for this? So syempre may retirement na yan. Okay? So retirement age. So yun, ino-notify ka ngayon ng system. So yun po yung ibang reason behind that. Kaya minsan inihiwalay po yung date of birth as a table kasi may ibang reason again behind that. So ayun po, ayun yung purpose nila. So kaya hiwalay na table. Okay? And then we have the single valued attribute. Okay? So in single valued attribute, so we have here attributes contain a single value. For example, social security number. Okay? Yan po. Social security number. Ayan po oh. 'Di ba? So single valued. Nag-iisa lang din siya. Then, multi-valued attribute. Okay? So, multi-value attributes may contain more than one values. For example, student. Under student table, may attribute siya na email address. Under email address, pwede ka magkaroon ng isa, dalawa, tatlo, and so on na email address. Okay, so anong purpose mo? Siyempre, you have your own purpose in creating the the different email address. Okay, you can use, for example, you can use this for some reason in school. Okay, you have also your personal email. Siyempre, may email tayo from the school, di ba? That we can use to access the platform or our platform. Kasi pag wala yung email address na yon, we cannot use the platform. We cannot meet, okay, on our online class. Then we cannot also submit those requirements. Ayun po yung purpose nun. So we have the school email. And then we also have our personal email. Okay, yung personal email naman, kailangan mo yan. Actually, yung personal email ko when I started or when before I entered the college, I have my personal email. So until now, yun pa rin po yung ginagamit ko. So pag napupuno yun, kasi 15 gig lang yung maximum. Okay? 15 gig lang po yung maximum storage for free ng Google Drive. Okay? So pag nag-exceed na yon, so mag-warning sa'yo Okay? Pag napuno mo na yon, kasi hindi ka na makaka-receive ng email pag napuno na yon. So watch out when you use your Google Drive. So i-delete nyo yung mga data, information na hindi naman related. So pag hindi nyo na kailangan, okay, bura na. So ayun naman yung purpose dun eh. Pag di mo na kailangan, so i-delete nyo na. Then I also have my email for, like for example, Play Store. Okay, wag niyong gamitin po. Ito lang po, advice ko. So, do not use your personal email in your Play Store. Kasi pag na hack yung account, let's say for example, may third party account, kasi ito yung ginamit mo eh. So, when you use your email on Play Store, okay, so nagpo-provide ka ng permission, ng access sa Play Store na magamit ng app. Actually, magagamit ng app yung email mo. So pag na-hack yung account or nagkaroon ng malicious software doon sa dinownload mong yung software, pwedeng magkaroon ng attack doon sa email mo. Okay? So pwedeng makita lahat ng emails mo, transaction mo, okay? And so on. So yun yung problem. Okay? So why hindi ko ginagamit yung personal email ko doon sa Play Store in other online games. Okay? So it is important for you to have a separate email for your games and then for your professional email. And po, that's why I have multiple emails, dami emails that I'm using. And then iba rin po yung ginagamit ko sa Facebook emails. So, ang daming email ni Sir. Okay? So, ganun po talaga. Okay? So, syempre, security-wise, okay, pag na-hack yung Facebook mo, na-hack yung email mo, wala na. Okay? Pag personal email mo yung ginamit mo. So, ayun ang problem. Okay? So, that's why, ayan, pag na-hack ito pa, so ang ginagawa ko, naka two-way factor security ako, in which na pag na-hack yung Facebook ko, syempre, pag na-hack yung email na yon, pwedeng ma-hack yung account mo, yung Facebook mo. So, ang ginagawa ko, kung ma-hack man yung email ko, pwede ko pa rin ma-retrieve through the help of my personal email. Kasi yung personal email ko, nakatag siya doon sa email na gamit ko doon sa Facebook. Okay? So, ayun, ganun ang ginagamit ko. Kaya kahit ma-hack, kahit mapalitan yung password nung email nung Facebook ko, so pwede ko pa rin siya ma-retrieve. Okay? So, yun po yung purpose nung security behind that. Okay? So, kaya hindi ako nag-worry pag na-hack yung Facebook. So, and then, syempre, mag-ingat lang kayo when you log to certain PC, computer, like say for example on the computer shop, okay? So, those public access computer, public access Wi-Fi, okay? So, yun po yung nagiging problem, concern, kaya nagkakaroon ng hacking. Okay? Let's say, for example, ginamit mo yung account mo sa computer shop. Tapos, hindi ka naka two-way factor security, yari ka na. Oh, yung computer shop, nag-install pala ng keylogger. O, yung keylogger na yon, so I know you are aware with this. So, yung keylogger na yon, ang purpose nun is para makita kung ano yung mga password, ano yung mga accounts na in-enter ng user na gumamit sa computer na yon. Okay? So, even you shut down, even you restart the computer, nakasave na yun kay keylogger. Okay? So, hindi naman lahat, pero some computer shop is may keylogger. Okay? And then also, public Wi-Fi. So, iwasan nyo rin po kasi hindi natin alam kung sino-sino yung nagko-connect doon. Baka may andun na yung hacker connected with. So, na-hack na yung accounts mo, na-penetrate na. So, ayun. Okay? So, that's why, maging kayo, quiet, security-wise. Kasi, pag ganun ang thinking nyo, so magiging kayo, ah, yung minds nyo ngayon, so hindi ka makokontento na ito lang yung account mo. So gagamit ka pa ng iba't ibang accounts for you to or for your security purpose. Okay? Mahirap kasi pag isa lang yung account natin. So pwedeng ma-hack. Okay? So yun lang po yung concern natin. Okay? So ayun po. I think I will cut the discussion on this part. So since our topic is for week 4 and 5. Okay, so let's continue the discussion for next meeting. Okay, so hope you are uh, or you hope you've learned from the basic of the ER model. Okay, so under this we have a couple of slides. Marami pa pong slides ito. So itutuloy po natin on the next meeting. So hope you'll learn from this first part of the entity relationship diagram concept. Okay, the discussion. Okay, yun po. Okay. So again, thank you for listening.